Good vibes only here as the Braves prepare for Game 6 of the World Series. Things are getting really excited. The energy in Minute Maid Park is really picking up, and the final finishing touches are being put on the field right now. While the Braves had an outstanding record at home this postseason, they also went 46-35 on the road in the regular season, so they've been really good away from Truist Park as well. Of course, as Braves fans remember, Atlanta took Game 1 right here in Houston in a tough environment. Even though Max Fried's Game 2 start here didn't go how he'd like, now coming back here for Game 6, he knows exactly what to expect with a chance to clinch that World Series tonight. And there was a change in the Braves batting order for Game 6 tonight. Ozzie Albies moving down from 3rd in the lineup to 7th, with Jorge Soler up to 2nd in the order. Albies has hit 3 of 18 in this World Series, so he hasn't been swinging the bat very well. Snitker told Ozzie the news yesterday on their off day before they got here to Houston, but the team believes it's just a matter of time before his bat comes back to life.
World Series champion, how does that sound?
That sounds really, really neat.
To know that you guys were the 4th team in history to make it to the World Series that didn't have a record of 500 when you guys were at the All-Star break. I mean, thinking back to that, can you imagine that you're here? After Max's last 2 starts weren't exactly what he wanted, what can you say about what he did tonight? Take us inside that clubhouse celebration, the Braves fans that, weren't able to see that. What is it like in the World Series versus all these other ones you guys have had?
A lot of excitement.
When you saw that bomb by Jorge go over the out of the building, really,
yeah,
what were your thoughts there?
I
was going to ask, what was it like watching Max do what he did tonight? Absolutely. And when you think about all the adversity that this team faced, no Ronald Acuna, no Mike Soroka, no Marcell Ozuna. I mean, the fact that they weren't even 500 until August 6th, the latest date for an eventual World Series champion. The amount of adversity that this team overcame is nothing short of incredible to say that they are now the World Series champions. And then to make that statement with a 7-0 offensive onslaught behind a gem from Max Fried, as you guys were talking about, both historic accomplishments in a World Series clincher in their own rights, just says so much about this team, their resilience, how it's taken every man to really get this done. I think everyone was kind of in a bit of shock last night as all those celebrations were continuing on the field. You can really see the emotion on his face there. 40 years, 4 decades in this organization, how much it means to Brian Snitker and his family. You heard from his wife, Ronnie, there as well, holding their grandson, Hank, who she was holding during the final outs of this and the last clinching scenario. So he was asleep for all of that, but very exciting for their family, a big moment for them. And a lot of these guys, right? Eddie Rosario the same way. A lot of these guys, those trade deadline acquisitions that really changed the course of this entire season for the Braves. To see the fact that they also shut them out 7-0, we talked to Austin Riley about how they wanted to come out and make a statement in this game, and they certainly did. Yeah. He had 9 2/3 innings. He gave up 11 runs, 15 hits in those 2 last outings in the postseason, so not exactly what Max Fried wanted. He's hoping to rebound tonight in this Game 6. The Braves always feel confident with Max Fried on the mound, so they're excited to have him there. He's 4-7 on the season, 3.04 ERA. He was one of the best pitchers in the second half of the season down the stretch. A big piece of why the Braves actually have gotten to this point. But as I said, last 2 starts are not exactly what he wanted. So he's looking to rebound here with a chance to clinch the World Series with him on the mound. It just would mean so much to him and his family, with his son in the other dugout too.
Oh my gosh, what a storybook ending for the whole family.
Yes, Ronnie Snitker, his wife, has been wearing the split Astros Braves jerseys, so it's been really a family affair. But so I mean, she's really going to be happy no matter what the outcome is. But for Brian Snitker, a guy that's been in the organization for 4 decades now, would mean everything. And the players are playing for him. They've talked about that.
Well, guys, if you've seen some signs or T-shirts that say "Party Like It's 1999," that's not only the last time the Braves were in the World Series, it's also the last time Atlanta has hosted a World Series game, and they're definitely happy to be back here at Truist Park after that tough Game 2 loss, a place they're undefeated this postseason. In fact, the Braves have won 10 of their last 11 at Truist Park, and they've also had a lot of success when Ian Anderson, their starter tonight, is on the mound. The 23-year-old is 3-0 this postseason, and he hopes to add to that win column tonight. He and Brian Snitker say it's a strategic advantage that Anderson has never pitched against the Astros in his short career, guys, and the Braves country crowd behind them is just as big an advantage. While the emotions will be running high, the one thing that Ian Anderson is looking forward to, he said, is just getting it started. Anderson said with a lineup as deep as Houston's, limiting a big inning like we saw doom the Braves in Game 2 is going to be huge for him on this mound tonight. As you can see, the tarp is off of the field here at Truist Park. There is some kind of scattered showers, so this is a really good sign. They just lifted this up right before we went on the air, so maybe we'll actually get to see some baseball right there at 8:09, guys.
There's a saying that some guys are just built for these big moments in the postseason, and by now, Braves fans are familiar with Joc Pederson's quirky personality, the bleached hair, the strands of pearls, and kind of just being his own vibe. But his teammates say there's something to that. So the Braves are finding out that Joctober is a real thing, and so are these strands of pearls that you can go buy at the Truist Park Clubhouse store. They're $3. Brian Snitker said he probably won't be wearing one, but as for Joc making that starting lineup tomorrow, that's not a decision that Snitker said he'll make until tomorrow when he wakes up. Also said he's confident in where this bullpen is at as well. Since the All-Star break, the Braves pen is 4th in the MLB with a 3.24 ERA. Most of all, Snitker said this team is just really excited to get out there again. They ended the regular season winning 11 of their last 14, and they're excited to keep that streak going here in Milwaukee. Well, the Braves certainly tried to make things interesting in the bottom of the 9th against Josh Hader here in Game 1 of the NLDS, but it was too little too late. The offense had just 4 hits tonight, leaving 11 men on base. Not capitalizing when Charlie Morton's start was just as spotless as the Brewers' Brandon Woodruff's. It took until the 7th inning for Rowdy Tellez to get the best of Morton, who Brian Snitker said was outstanding outside of that one pitch. The one run for Atlanta came off a solo shot by pinch hitting Joc Pederson. After a quiet night from the Braves offense in Game 1 of the National League Divisional Series, 3 runs did the trick for the Braves in Game 2 as they head back to Atlanta with a series tied 1-1. Both sides have talked about how postseason runs are hard to come by, with just 6 runs scored total in the first 2 games. Well, who thought even 2 months ago that on September 30th we'd be seeing a potentially division-clinching game for the Braves at Truist Park? With a sweep today of the Phillies, they have a shot at their 4th straight NL East pennant. And the way things are going, they feel pretty good about it. You can see Joc Pederson there with a football. He's not in the lineup today, so I'm not quite sure what he's doing with a football, but pregame vibes here were just really relaxed. The guys aren't putting too much pressure on themselves to win this game, though Freddie Freeman did say they want to clinch so that they can save their legs the next couple days against the Mets to finish out the season. It did not take long for the celebrations to break out here at Truist Park and the celebratory cigars, but even for Alex Anthopoulos, he didn't believe that this was truly possible until today.
Last night. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, Guy, maybe we could see in relief tonight, or maybe as an opener later on in the series. Tucker Davidson, he found out that he was coming to this World Series roster and watching Game 1, kind of like the rest of us. He was at a hotel in Gwinnett eating a Cheesecake Factory salad, just kind of watching Game 1 when he saw Charlie Morton go down. A devastating loss for the starting rotation was maybe his way back into it.
We were just kind of sitting there, and Charlie went down, and we kind of like looked around and this is why we're here. This is the reason we had the taxi squad, is for this reason right here. So I stayed up, and I kind of had an idea that it might be me. I just had that gut feeling.
Well, that gut feeling was right. The Amarillo native got a phone call at 1 a.m. early Wednesday morning that he'd be heading back home to his home state to join the Braves World Series roster. He threw as much as he could into a bag and took an Uber to the airport.
I mean, it's a huge deal. It's an honor to be here. The opportunity to make my postseason debut in the World Series, I don't think very many people have the opportunity to get to say they've done that before.
The next step, figuring out how Mom could get here, and that wasn't easy.
We thought it was going to be a breeze. We got tickets fast, and about 11 o'clock last night, they canceled our flights. So we were scrambling for tickets, and God bless Southwest. They had 1 ticket left, and I was able to get on there. And from this morning, it was a breeze. And we're here.
Davidson started the year with the Stripers, got called up in May, and had a 3.60 ERA across 4 starts, with no decisions before a forearm injury sidelined him on June 16th. He didn't pitch again until earlier this month in AAA, where he finished 2-2 with a 1.17 ERA.
I'm sure I will burst into tears. I'm shocked I already haven't. And I'm just thrilled for him. Everybody works so hard to get here, and they all want to do it. So your heart just bursts with joy when they get a chance.
Mom was obviously visibly emotional there. As for Tucker, maybe battling some emotions if he does come in, he said he likes to focus on something in the ballpark that kind of stays still, maybe a sign or a foul pole, so that he can kind of take some deep breaths and really take control of his emotions.
This is so many years, just incredible.
While most Braves fans know Brian Snitker's 4 decades-long journey through the organization's minor leagues, like any great man, there was a great woman by his side the entire time, his wife, Ronnie Snitker.
If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. She allowed me to do this. Our family, she drugged the kids around the Southeast for a lot of years. Held a job herself, did the cheerleading, the Little League. The kids were all part of all the teams, and we've been through a lot.
Did you ever think you were going to get to this point when you're going through all those tough years in the minors and all the things your family has been through?
No, this is so incredible. We just never thought that we'd be here. Brian, we had kind of thought he wasn't going to be able to manage, and he is, and he's done a great job. And now we're going to meet my son in the World Series. Like, how is that happening? I don't know.
How they got here was after a tough loss in Game 5 in LA, but Ronnie says coming home to clinch this World Series berth was the best thing that could have happened.
I was just like, there's a meaning for this. There's a reason. We're going home to all these people that love us. It's just crazy.
For the final outs of Game 6, Ronnie was holding her sleeping grandbaby. She didn't even yell so as to not wake him.
I just held him as tight as I could, but then everybody started hugging me and they were just squeezing him. It's so cute.
The Braves were going to the World Series, a dream neither of them could have imagined, yet they were about to experience it together.
I was looking for her and the grandkids, and they're getting used to this too. And then little Hank, he kind of fell asleep, I think a little bit in my arms also. But I was looking for her because I knew it was going to be emotional for me. I mean, we've been, like I say, you do this for so long and put so much into it. I'm never ashamed to be emotional because it means a lot.
For the whole Snitker family, getting here was a long, trying road, from raising kids from minor league town to minor league town, to long nights wondering if this would ever happen and if it was all worth it. But that makes this moment even sweeter for their family.
In about June, I stopped saying what can happen next, because then something else would happen. So I'm just so glad that with all of that, Brian's stuck with his team and sticks with his players, and they made it. We're going to the World Series.
And as A.J. Minter put it when I talked to him after Game 6, Brian Snitker is the definition of what the Atlanta Braves are all about this season. The challenges he and Ronnie have made it through to make it to this point are no different than the number of hurdles this team has overcome to make it to the World Series. And this team is certainly fighting for their skipper. In Atlanta, Kelly Price, Fox 5 Sports.